Good to have you with us here on eNCA this Saturday morning. I'm Gareth Edwards as we head up very quickly to 6:45 this morning. Not good news, I'm afraid, as far as the fuel price is concerned for both petrol and diesel. A massive hike on the cards in February. I'd always like to say it's a welcome pleasure to have Layton Beard with us. But Layton, every time you and I seem to talk, it's about an increase in fuel prices. And the numbers I'm seeing, good morning to you, come February, it's really going to hurt us at the pumps, isn't it?
No, it certainly is, Gareth. I mean, we're looking at 80 cents increase for petrol and around 63 cents for diesel, and I think that diesel number is the one that's most concerning. Look, it is the middle of the month, and we still got 2 weeks to go before the end of the month to get to the averages for January going into February. You know, the rand at one stage this week was somewhere around 14 rand 90. Yesterday it was back over 15 rand 10. So I think the outlook is not great, and I do think we're in for some significant increases going into February, and it certainly is going to hurt consumers in general and motorists specifically.
Obviously, it's not going to make a difference in the world to any motorist as far as filling up their car come February. Layton, you talk about the dollar, but just give us some background about what could possibly be pushing up the price so significantly.
Yeah, the rand isn't really the major driver in any case. I think the big factor at the moment is that international oil prices have spiked, and that's really driving this increase that we are seeing. Obviously, the fact that the rand is stable against the US dollar is good news. But if the currency does begin to slip, then that's just going to add more to the problem. It's really a geopolitical situation where the price of international oil is at a specific rate, and it's higher than what we paid for in the past, and that's really the reason why we're seeing these increases.
And I have no doubts as well, when we see an increase, as we're going to in February, 80 cents for petrol, some 61 cents for diesel, this is going to have a knock-on effect for consumers. We're going to have to absorb that cost somewhere down the food chain, don't we?
Yeah, I think specifically when it comes to the diesel price, Gareth, you know, when diesel goes up, then we do see increases to consumable goods. And the reason is obvious that it's an input cost. You know, manufacturers in the agricultural sector, are absorbing that cost because they use it to transport goods across the country. They are passing that increase on to consumers. They will be passing that increase on to consumers. So, your loaf of bread is going to get maybe 1 or 2 cents more, and that's how it kind of builds up. Unfortunate that it is going to happen, but I have no doubt that we're going to see things getting just a little bit pricier, which is why we always say that the increase to the petrol price doesn't only hurt motorists, it hurts all consumers, and that is certainly a concern.
As far as the prediction for 2021, I'm asking you to look into your crystal ball, and as far as the fuel price is concerned, it's always probably a guess best left to experts like you, Layton. Are we going to see significant increases throughout the year, or could we get a reprieve, do you think, somewhere in maybe the first or second quarter of this year?
I don't know, and certainly I think there are people a lot better qualified than I am to answer that question. What I can tell you is that it's going to be difficult to answer it because the two main factors that determine the fuel price are obviously the rand-US dollar exchange rate and the oil price, the international oil price. We saw in 2020 where at one point you couldn't even give oil away. In certain places. Now we're looking at $56 for Brent crude. So it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen with that international oil price, and that really is up to, these international political events. I mean, something could happen in the next 24 hours, something could happen in the next week that could impact on that international oil price. It could either skyrocket, as we saw when we have the oil fields that are bombed, or it could just go to a value of nothing, and these things happen within a week or a couple of weeks' time. And then with the rand-US dollar exchange rate also incredibly volatile, a lot of factors coming into play there, and to kind of put your stake in the ground and say this is exactly what's going to happen, I think would be speculative and dangerous, and I certainly wouldn't want to do that. What I can say, Gareth, by way of answering your question in a long way, unfortunately, is that keep your eye on the fuel price. If you're a consumer, understand how the fuel price is comprised and how it's going to impact on you, and just keep yourself informed, because that, I think, is the power that you have in terms of the fuel price going forward.
It's always fun to throw that question at Layton Beard and see what he gives as far as predicting the fuel price. How in the world do you do that? Layton Beard from the AA, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thanks very much for your time.